Hello. Today in this lesson, thermal engineering. In thermal engineering, we are going to discuss about applications of steady flow energy equation. The full form for SFEE is nothing but the steady flow energy equation. The objectives of this lesson. On the completion of this lesson, you would be able to know the applications of steady flow energy equation, that is SFEE, to engineering systems. Before going to the steady flow energy equation applications, let us know what is flow process. The flow process occurs in an open system through which the fluid enters and leaves from the system. That means the flow process takes place only in case of open system. That is, open system means, I think you are already familiar with the types of thermodynamic systems. Among thermodynamic systems, there are three types of them: open system, closed system, and isolated system. In an isolated system, there is no interaction between the system and surroundings. That means there is no transfer of mass into, that is, matter into or out of the system. And also there is no transfer of energy into or out of the system. That is called isolated system. Whereas in case of closed system, there is only one interaction, that is energy interaction into the surroundings. The system will interact with the surroundings by means of only energy, but there is no transformation of any matter or the mass to the outside or into the system. Whereas finally the open system is, the open system can interact with both matter as well as energy with the surroundings. That means it will transmit the matter as well as the energy to the surroundings, and it will receive the matter as well as energy into the system from the surroundings. So here in this case, the flow process will occur only in case of open system. That means where there is a transformation of energy as well as matter to the surroundings or into the system from the surroundings. So the flow process occurs only in case of open system, through which the fluid enters and also leaves the system from the system. So there is the flow process. Now steady flow process. Generally the types of flow process are non-flow process and steady flow process. Here in this case, steady flow process, the flow process is said to be steady when the fluid parameters at any point, that means at any instant of the control volume, remain constant with respect to time. The flow process is said to be steady when the flow parameters at any point of the control volume remain constant with respect to time. That means there is no change in the parameters of the flow process. There is no change in any other things with respect to that. Means from time to time, the fluid parameters remains same. So that is the steady flow process. And now the steady flow energy equation, you are already familiar with this. The steady flow energy equation on unit mass of substance. So E is nothing but the Q122 minus W122 into M into H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus G into Z2 minus Z1. So here is the Q122 is the heat transfer into or out of the system in flow process, and W is the work done either by the system or on the system. Next is M is the mass of the substance, and H2 is the specific enthalpy at the exit of the system, whereas H1 is the specific enthalpy at the entry of the system, whereas V2 is the velocity of the substance at the exit of the system, whereas V1 is the velocity of the substance at the entry of the system, whereas G is the acceleration due to gravity, which is nothing but the 9.81 meters per second square, whereas Z2 is the datum height at the exit, whereas Z1 is the datum height at the entry, which will give you the potential. And that means this is the heat transfer, this will be the work transfer, and this will be the change in enthalpy, and this will be the kinetic energy, whereas this will be the potential energy. So this is the steady flow energy equation. So now many engineering devices uses steady flow energy equation, whereas some of the applications which use steady flow energy equation are the turbines and pumps also, compressors, boilers, and heat exchangers. That means simply we can say condensers, and once again nozzles, etc. deal with the flowing fluids, and their analysis is done with the concept of steady flow energy equation. That means the analysis of turbines, analysis of pumps, and analysis of compressors, analysis of boilers, analysis of condensers, that is heat exchangers, and analysis of nozzles, etc. We are going to deal with the concepts of steady flow energy equation, that is SFEE. So we should have sufficient knowledge in case of steady flow energy equation. That means derivation for steady flow energy equation, assumptions of steady flow energy equation. We should have the concept of this one. So next is the applications of steady flow energy equation. So number one application is boiler. So boiler supplies heat to the water and generates the steam, right? That is the boiler. And the turbine converts work energy, means energy of the working substance, work energy of gas or steam, whatever it is, into work in the turbine. That means heat energy is converted into work in the turbine. And the compressor here in this case, it compresses the atmospheric air and supplies to the other system or the receiver at high pressure in a small quantities. It means it receives the air from the atmosphere and compresses the air to the high pressure by liberating some amount of heat, by consuming some amount of work from the external source, and this high pressure steam air is transformed to the other systems, maybe gas turbines, etc., or R&S equipment, etc. Right? Next is condenser, or we can call it as the heat exchanger also. And the heat transferred from one fluid to the other fluid. Heat is transferred from one fluid, that means maybe steam to the water, or sometimes steam to water also, or sometimes water to steam also sometimes it may happen. But here in this case, condenser, generally the heat present in the steam will be transferred to the circulating water. So that's why it is called a heat exchanger. It means this condenses the some amount of fluid. And the nozzle here in this case, next is nozzle. In case of nozzle, the velocity will be increased at the expense of pressure energy. That means pressure drop. That means here in this case, it increases the velocity or the kinetic energy of the working substance at the expense of its pressure drop. These are the generally used in some of the applications of steady flow energy equation, that is boilers, turbines, compressors, condensers or heat exchangers, nozzles. Let us see one by one how we are going to apply this steady flow energy equation to the boiler, to the turbine, to the compressor, and to the condenser, and to the nozzles. So let us see one by one. So now, first of all, let us discuss about the boiler. Here is the boiler, a simple sketch of a boiler. Here you can see it is a closed vessel in which the water is entering into the boiler, closed vessel, that is called boiler. And this water will be heated by igniting the fuel present at the bottom or some other furnace, etc. That means at the bottom the fuel is ignited, the fuel is burned to liberate heat, and this heat is supplied to the water. Thereby the water will get heated and it will form a steam at the top. It will form the steam at its top, that means vessel's top, and that will be used to transmit to the turbine, steam turbine or reciprocating steam engines, etc. For working of the either steam turbines or the steam engines, you can say reciprocating steam engines. That means here in simply the heat generated due to combustion of the fuel is transferred to the water, which will be heated and produced large amount of steam. That is simply that means the boiler main function is to convert or to supply the heat present to the hot gases to the water. The hot gases will be liberated by combustion of the fuel in combustion chamber. So some part of heat will from the combustion chamber will be exhausted to the atmosphere through the chimney. So here is the chimney, here is the water drum, and here is the furnace, and the furnace the fuel is ignited, and that will be transferred to the water, and boiler gets evaporated at higher temperatures, more than higher temperatures, where and this steam formed at the top will be reused to produce mechanical work in either steam turbines or in reciprocating steam engines. So that is the function of the steam boiler, you can see. So in boiler, heat energy added to water to produce steam. And here in this case, due to addition of heat to the water to produce steam, there is no need of work. That means simply heat energy is transferred to the water, that's all. So there is no mechanical work is done in the boiler, number one. So now let us see the characteristic features of flow through a boiler are: number one, no shaft work is done. That means there is no mechanical work is done in the boiler, steam boiler. That means simply you can say work done will be either work done by the system or on the system will be on the boiler will be 0 in this case. Number 2, no change in kinetic energy. That means velocity energy you can say. That means simply V2 square minus V1 square by 2, that is change in kinetic energy will becomes 0 here in this case. Number 3rd is no change in potential energy also. No change in potential energy. That's why change in potential energy will be 0. So after having no shaft work, no kinetic energy, no potential energy, the steady flow energy equation for unit mass flow is, as here in this case we are having Q122 minus W122 into H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus GZ2 minus Z1. Here in this case, as we have discussed in the characteristic features of the boiler, no mechanical work, that's why shaft work is 0, this will become 0. And no kinetic energy, that means no change in kinetic energy will be 0, this will become 0. And no potential energy also, this will also become 0. So finally left over is Q122 and H2 minus H1. That means change in enthalpy. Change in enthalpy only remains. Right? For boiler, steady flow energy equation is written as, so finally this will be the formula that is for calculation of heat supplied to the boiler, thereby to the water to produce the steam. Heat supplied to the water to produce the steam is nothing but the Q122 equal to H2 minus H1. That means the heat is supplied to the boiler, heat supplied to the system in the boiler increases the enthalpy of the system. That means enthalpy of the water, due to increase in the enthalpy, the steam is generated. So this is all about the steam boiler. So now, so let us see, this is the turbine. Next application of steady flow energy equation is the turbine, steam turbine you can see. So here in this case, this will be the casing, and this is the inlet of the steam into the system from the steam boiler, and this is the outlet of the steam from the steam turbine to the outlet. Either it may go to the surroundings or it may go enter into the steam condenser. So during which the heat energy present in the steam will be converted into, some part will be mechanical work and some part will go through the steam outlet. That means heat will be rejected. So right. So here in this case, simply the turbine, the steam from turbine enters into the steam turbine. Steam from boiler enters into the steam turbine, and the steam in steam turbine will expand through the movable blades and fixed blades, and movable blades are mounted on the shafts, whereas the fixed blades are mounted with the casing of the turbine, and the fixed blades will act as a nozzle, whereas the movable blades, there is no change in the generally velocity, and there is no change in the pressure also, but whereas only it will help to produce the work, that means shaft work. So here in this case, after entering into this, that will expand through the movable blades and fixed blades. Due to expansion through the different many number of blades, the shaft will rotate by producing mechanical work. And after expansion through the blades, the steam will leave through the outlets, which may enter into the surroundings or which may also enter into the condenser. So here in this case, there is no change in the heat but only it will produce mechanical work because because the casing will be insulated. The casing will be insulated. That means there is no transfer of heat into the out of the system. That means casing through the system. That's why there is no heat flow in the turbine, but only there is no potential and change in potential energy also. So that's why, and also there is no change in velocity also. So that's why simply the work done will be there in this steam turbines. So this converts this turbine converts heat energy of the steam into the mechanical work in the turbine. And this mechanical work output shaft, mechanical work at the output shaft is supplied to the electric generator, and this electric generator will convert the mechanical work to electrical work. That means the mechanical work in the generator, electrical generator will be converted into electrical work. That means electric power. So that is the idea. That means the turbine will convert heat energy into mechanical energy, and the generator will convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. Right? So here in this case, in case of steam turbines, the steady flow energy equation for unit mass flow is, as we are already aware, this steady flow energy equation Q122 minus W122 equal to H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus G into Z2 minus Z1. Here in this case of steam turbines, potential energy will be 0 because there is no change in potential energy, and velocity energy, this kinetic energy will be 0 because there is no change in the velocity. And here there is no heat is transferred into or out of the system because of what we call insulation to the casing. If there is no insulation, the heat will be rejected to the surroundings. But whereas we are insulating the total casing of the turbine, that's why there is no transfer of heat energy into or out of the system. So that's why Q122 will become 0, kinetic energy will become 0, potential energy will become 0. Finally, you will get minus W122 equal to H2 minus H1. Minus W, that means work 122 equal to H2 minus H1. That means the work is done by the system or the turbine at the expense of enthalpy. Change in enthalpy, at the expense of change in enthalpy in case of steam turbines. Let us see steam turbines. The characteristic features of flow through turbine, there is negligible velocity change, and that velocity change will be very negligible when passing through the moving blades, as well as in moving blades there is no change in the velocity, whereas in case of fixed blades there is slight change in the velocity which may be the negligible. So that's why negligible velocity change in the flow of liquid, and also negligible potential energy changes. And as there is no transfer of heat, as its walls, that means casing walls, are thermally insulated. The walls of the turbine are thermally insulated, that's why there is no transfer of heat into the turbine or out of the turbine. That means kinetic energy will be 0, potential energy will be 0, and heat transfer is also 0. Now, for turbine, steam turbine, steady flow energy equation is written as W122, that means work done by the steam turbine is equal to H1 minus H2. That means the work is done by the steam turbine at the expense of enthalpy drop. At the expense of enthalpy only. That means enthalpy at the entry of the turbine will be high, whereas at the enthalpy at the exit of the turbine will be low. So work is done by the system due to decrease in the, that means enthalpy drop, decrease in the enthalpy of steam or working substance. That is all about the steam turbine. The finally the equation will be W122 is equal to H1 minus H2. Now next is reciprocating compressor. So now reciprocate, the main function of the compressor is to compress the low pressure air to the high pressure air and supply to the required purposes. Generally, the compressors are used in many places, just like R&AC machinery, and also missile technology also we are going to use, and also sometimes we may use this gas turbines, and also we use drilling of rock drills. In case of rock drills also we are going to use these compressors. That means in all the cases we are receiving the compressor is a device which will compress the low pressure air to the high pressure air by receiving external work is the compressor, right? Simply. So here is the reciprocating compressor. Generally the compressors are two types. Then one is the reciprocating compressor and the rotary compressor. In case of reciprocating compressors, single stage reciprocating, double stage reciprocating, and also single cylinder and multi cylinder compressors also there. Whereas in case of rotary compressors, there are axial flow compressors, air compressors are there, and also centrifugal air compressors are also there. So that's why here in this case we are going to discuss about the reciprocating air compressor. Reciprocating air compressor, just like its working principle is more or less just like it is IC engines, let us see. So here also in this reciprocating compressor, it will also having the cylinder. Inside the cylinder there is a piston which will move top dead center to the bottom dead center by means of external means, that is maybe electric motor or some means of IC engines or steam turbines or gas turbines, whatever it is. And due to movement of the piston inside the cylinder, the air will be entering from the air inlet valve. When the piston moves from top dead center to the bottom dead center and topmost position to the bottommost position, and when the piston moves from bottommost position to the topmost position, the inlet valve will be closed and the exit valve will be opened. Exhaust valve will be opened. Due to opening of the exhaust valve, the high pressure air will be supplied to the receiver or to any other means, you can see. So this is a simple working principle. That means simply once again I will explain. When the piston moves from top dead center to the bottom dead center, the air from the atmosphere enters through the inlet valve into the cylinder. When the piston moves from bottommost position to the bottom dead center to the top dead center or topmost position, the pressure during that time the valve, inlet valve will be closed and also exit valve will be closed. Due to closing of both valves, the air will be compressed due to movement of the piston from bottom point to the topmost point. At the end of the compression, the exhaust valve will be opened. Due to opening of the exhaust valve, the high pressure air will be supplied to the receiver. During the compression, some amount of heat is liberated. Some amount of heat is liberated that will be leaving to the surroundings through the cylinder box. This is a simple working principle of reciprocating air compressor. Right? So let us see here in this case what is going to happen in order to have the steady flow energy equation. Here also the air is entering into the system and leaving the system. That means matter is entering into the cylinder and matter, that is air is leaving the cylinder, and also there is a transfer of energy also. So here in this case, it is receiving the work to run the piston from the external means either electric motor or gas turbines or IC engines, etc., or steam turbines also sometimes. And also some amount of heat is liberated to the external means, that means surroundings. Whereas in this case, if you see, the compressors, this device compresses the air and supplies at considerable high pressure in small quantities. And for this case, static flow energy equation for unit mass flow is same as the previous expression. The characteristic features in this case, so potential energy will be 0 in this case. Also, kinetic energy will be 0. The kinetic energy of the air as well as the potential energy of the air also 0 in this case. That means even though if you are there, they are very negligible. And also, the final equation will be equal here in this case will be. So here in this case, this will become 0 and this will become 0 because of small quantities, and it is going to receive the work from the external means. That means work is done on the system, which will be the negative, and heat will be rejected to the surroundings, which is also negative. So that's why, so left out is minus Q122 minus into minus 1 to W122 is equal to H2 minus H1. So this is minus Q122 minus into 1 minus 1 W122 is equal to H2 minus H1, and this will become plus and this will become minus. And if you bring to the side, that is work done on the system in air compressor equal to heat liberated plus enthalpy change in enthalpy. So this is the formula for reciprocating air compressor. This is the formula for reciprocating air compressor, simply we can see. So the negative sign in this case is, negative sign for Q is heat rejected from the system, that means from the air to the surroundings through the cylinder walls. And next is work done. If it is as it is the negative, that is because of work is done on the air, that means system. That's why it is also negative. Right? This is all about the reciprocating air compressor and the application of static flow energy equation. And the condenser in this case. Now let us have the condenser, which is also called a heat exchanger. Simply its function is to exchange the heat present in the steam to the water. So, to transfer the heat present in the steam into the water. That means to condense the steam and to heat the feed water of the boiler. Right? So here is one model of the heat exchanger or steam condenser. You can say here is on one side the steam is entering in, and on the other side the water is entering. And here in this case, water tube condenser. Water tube condenser. Sometimes steam tube condensers are also there, but here in this case, the tubes are used to pass the water through the tubes. So water from outside entering with low temperature is, so that means cold water entering into the tubes at one side, and from the top here in this case, if you see, the hot steam, high temperature and high pressure steam enters into the condenser, and which will circulate around the hot water tubes, around the water tubes. During the circulation of high temperature and high pressure steam around the tubes, the heat present in the steam will be exchanged by me to the water. Thereby, the water gets heated and the heated water leaves the condenser at this outlet, whereas the cooled steam, after the exchange of heat to the water, the steam will be cooled and the cold steam, that means condensed steam, will leave to the outside, either to the atmosphere or to the some other means, whatever it is. So this is the simple working of heat exchanger or condenser, you can see. So here in this case, if you observe, how can we apply this static flow energy equation? As we are seeing, there is no change in the potential energy and there is no change in the kinetic energy here in this case, and there is no change in the work also, work energy. So here in this case, only the function is exchanging of heat, that means steam to the water, that's all. Whatever the heat present in the steam is transferred or exchanged to the water only. That is only the function. That's why the heat energy is removed in order to condense the vapor. So here in this case, static flow energy equation for unit mass flow is same as the previous case. This will become 0, and this will kinetic energy will become 0, and there is no shaft work because of there is no shaft in space in the condenser. This will also become 0. The only the thing is, and the heat is rejected to the water. Whatever the heat present in the steam will be rejected to the water. That's why this will become heat rejection. That's why negative. So let us see the characteristic features of flow through condenser. No mechanical work. That's why it becomes 0. And no change in kinetic energy. That will become 0. And there is no change in the potential energy. That will also become 0. So finally, minus Q122 is equal to H2 minus H1, and finally equation will be Q122 equal to H1 minus H2. That means the heat will be rejected to the surroundings at the expense of enthalpy drop. At the expense of enthalpy drop. That is the condenser. So negative sign for Q122 is due to heat rejection from the system. So next is nozzle. Here is the nozzle. You can see generally the main function of the nozzle is to convert the pressure energy into kinetic energy, or the otherwise you can say the function of the nozzle is it is a device used to increase the kinetic energy or the velocity of the steam at the expense of enthalpy or at the expense of pressure drop. That is the definition and the function of the steam nozzles. So here in this case, generally the steam nozzles are 3 types. One is the convergent nozzle. So here you can say this part is called convergent nozzle, which is having at the entry higher diameter size and at the exit lower diameter. That is convergent nozzle. Whereas the divergent nozzle also the second one. That means at the entry, the diameter, the size of the entry will be less, whereas at its exit it will be more. This is the divergent. So next one is convergent and divergent nozzles. That is combination of convergent and divergent nozzles. So here we are observing here in this case in the sketch or the figure convergent divergent nozzle. So this is the entry or inlet of the nozzle, and this is the exit of the nozzle or outlet of the nozzle, and this is the throat, and from here to here is the divergent portion, and from here to here is the convergent portion. So here in this case, the steam at low velocity and high pressure and high enthalpy enters into the convergent portion and passes through the convergent portion to end throat and divergent portion. Finally, the steam with high velocity and low pressure and low enthalpy leaves the nozzle. This is the simple idea of the nozzle. That means the steam at low velocity and high pressure enters into the nozzle and leaves with the low pressure and high velocity. That means high kinetic energy. So that is the working of nozzle. So here in this case, increases the kinetic energy of the working substance at the expense of its pressure drop or enthalpy drop. So here in this case, steady flow energy equation for unit mass flow is, so if you see here in this case, the potential energy, change in potential energy will be 0, number 1, and there is no shaft work. That means there is no mechanical work. This will also becomes 0. That means W12 will becomes 0 and Z2 minus Z1 will also becomes 0. The only remaining is, here the function is increasing the kinetic energy from, that means initial kinetic energy to final kinetic energy. That means this is there, and also there is a change in the enthalpy also. That means kinetic energy will be increased at the expense of enthalpy drop. And here if you insulate the nozzle, if you insulate, thermally insulated, there is no transfer of heat into the working substance or out of the working substance through the nozzles. That's why if you assume this as the nozzle is thermally insulated, there is no heat transfer also in this case. Right? So if you take, this will become 0 and work, no mechanical work, no potential energy. The remaining are H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2. So in characteristic features of the flow through a nozzle, the nozzle is insulated. In such case, Q122 will become 0. If it is not insulated, there is a possibility of heat rejection, and also practically there is a heat generation due to friction between the steam and the surface of the nozzle, but that is very negligible value. And the system does not deliver any mechanical work, that's why that will become 0. And also there is no change in the potential energy, that's why that is also 0. So finally, this will become 0, this will become 0, this will become 0. So finally, the nozzle, in case of nozzles, the steady flow energy equation becomes 0 is equal to H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2. That means change in kinetic energy is equal to enthalpy drop. Change in kinetic energy will becomes equal to enthalpy drop from H1 to H2. If you bring this side, this will become H1 minus H2 generally, but practically sometimes it may be possible, that is inlet velocity of the steam at its entry will be very, very negligible when comparing to the exit velocity of the steam. That's why in most of the cases we are going to neglect the inlet velocity V1. So the kinetic energy at the inlet will become, if you neglect that, that will become 0. That's why final equation V2 is equal to under root of 2 into H1 minus H2. This is the formula we must remember. So summary of this lesson, today's lesson here is, so steady flow energy equation for boiler is Q122 equal to H2 minus H1, and steady flow energy equation for turbine, that is W122 is equal to H1 minus H2, and for that is compressor, W122 is equal to Q122 plus H2 minus H1. And for condenser, it is Q122 is equal to H1 minus H2. And for nozzle, that is V2 square minus V1 square by 2 is equal to H1 minus H2. This is the summary of this lesson. Let us have a small quiz on this lesson. Steady flow energy equation applied to a boiler states that heat transferred Q122 is equal to simply H2 minus H1, that is change in enthalpy. Right? This is the answer. And next is second quiz. Steady flow energy equation applied to a turbine states that change in enthalpy is equal to simply work output, that is work done by the turbine. Next is steady flow energy equation applied to a reciprocating compressor states that the work done is equal to heat transfer plus change in enthalpy. And steady flow energy equation applied to a condenser states that the heat transfer is equal to change in enthalpy. And steady flow energy equation applied to nozzle states that the velocity of working substance issuing out of nozzle is equal to change in enthalpy. Next is in a steady flow process, heat transfer rate is constant, work transfer rate is constant, and mass flow rate is constant, and all the above, which is the right answer. So all the above D is the right answer. And last one, the steady flow process occurs in open system, closed system, and then both open and closed system, and none of the above. In the starting of this lesson, we discussed about the steady flow process is a process in which the open system, it will takes only, steady flow process takes only in case of open system. That's why open system should be the right answer. A. So thank you for patient hearing of this lesson. Thank you all.